Just Minding My Business Radio, where we are moving at the speed of God, learning what we didn't know we didn't know. I'm your host, Ida Crawford.
And I'm your co-host, Ruth Haskins.
So grab a pen and paper and get ready for information that you can use.
Welcome to Just Minding My Business Media. We hope you have had a fulfilling day and moved closer to your goals. Today we welcome Pamela Conerly, who is a serialpreneur, having a plethora of nonprofit and business organizations. She is the CEO of the nonprofit L.L.P.S certified and is the co-owner of the charity 360 Degrees Mind, Body, and Soul, where she helps people transition from one phase of life to the next. She's also co-owner of the nonprofit P.A.R.C, Academy and After School WPR. Among still other endeavors, Pamela Co-Owns Biological Besties with her sister, Robyn, and is also a contributing author to the anthology, Finally Free. Woo! Welcome, Pamela.
Yes.
I'm tired just reading that. Welcome.
Welcome. And I mean, we ain't even gonna have enough time. You already know for everything that you're doing. Wow. So let's start from the start. How did you get started with all this good stuff?
Well, we started off with, I started off with graduating from Mississippi State University. I had gotten my undergrad degree and I just didn't connect. So I went back and got a master's degree. And when I got out of the master's program, I went into, it's Homeland Security now or whatever. And it was not what I thought it was going to be cracked up to be. So I had to pivot and swivel and change. And I love children, and I just feel like I have a calling to help kids who have maybe have grown up in a lower class, like I've grown up poor, not having everything that you need, just helping children that may be overlooked, or the lower 35%, as they call them, the lower percentage, just to help them to know that they can thrive, they can grow, they can move, and they can go on from there. And so it went on into an after school program at my church, and I worked there for a while. And then it grew until I got my own after school with my sister, which is After School WPR, which stands for with Pam and Robyn. And then this year, it just flourished into virtual school because of the pandemic, and everyone was and we're still this way now, but we're so kind of careful with the germs, and just careful with how we are doing things, and we couldn't do things the same way. So we had to kind of come up with an alternative way. And so we just kind of sat down one day and said, for those kids that will be doing virtual and their parents still have to work, or there's only one parent in the household, or there are multiple kids and they're small, that we could create a kind of safe haven and have those kids come there and do virtual school in the building with us, but, separated in their 6 feet apart. And we have little plastic barriers on each desk so that they can feel safe, and the parents can know where they are. The parents can be sure that they're doing their homework, that they're studying, that they're, logging in and not missing school, and they're still learning in a safe, somewhat safer environment than just at home by themselves on a computer or a phone. And so that's where P.A.R.C Academy Virtual School was birthed from.
Wow, that is more than pivoting.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's a great idea.
Wow, that is definitely beautiful. And they probably really love you for that, because a lot of kids are having a hard time with schooling from home. It's just not the same to them, and not just leaving the house every day, going somewhere. Mm-hmm.
Yes, it has been. We've heard stories because we can only take a certain amount to keep that social distancing proportion, but it's just the people that we've heard from like some kids are, maybe they were on honor roll before the pandemic and they're kind of struggling now. I don't know if it's just because of the, because it is virtual, or because they don't have that human connection or that teacher right there to kind of guide them in the flesh. And they're kind of more doing like the distance learning of a college student, and they're not at that level yet or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, that's a whole change in attitude. And
Yeah.
that discipline was never there. So this is in so many ways a new discipline for them. And
It is
they're
definitely
feeling it at, like you said, a college level distance learning course. That's just inappropriate for young children. Even high school, they're just beginning to get their feet wet as being human beings, never mind trying to learn as well. So there's, even though they have partitions amongst them and they have the social distancing in the arrangement you have, they still have that input from their other classmates. They can see their reactions. That's really important. That's really important. So it must be a really great incentive for them.
Yeah, I would hope so. Anyway, but yeah, they can still have like a camaraderie, and like when we do go outside, and to just let them have a break, because it's like so much work. I believe they're doing much more than traditional schoolwork. I mean, I feel like it, because some of their work goes into 4 and 5 o'clock in the evening, and we're still teaching.
Wow.
And this is virtual, and I just couldn't imagine being at home by myself as a 6th grader, or I don't know, a 7th grader, and having to just balance that as well as help my younger siblings, because I know some of these kids are doing their work and helping younger siblings, as in, to finish theirs. So I couldn't imagine.
Yeah.
That's a long day.
What time do you start school?
Well, we get there at 7, and we open the doors at 7 to try, open up to have them have breakfast. But it starts at 7:30 so that they have time to sit down, to make sure they're ready for their bell ringers. They're ready for whatever the teacher may, spring up at 8 o'clock. We want them, at least 30 minutes to kind of have a buffer to make sure they did their homework from the day before. And so 7:30, most kids are there. But we open at 7, and they come in. School starts about, some classes can start at 7:45 because of the bell ringer, but most classes start at 8 o'clock. And from 8 o'clock on, we're going.
From 8 until 5?
Well, actually, we're there until about 6:37.
Oh my word.
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
That's a work day for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Well.
Question I have for you, is this one school, or is this different schools involved with your program? And how does it work? How does it work?
So what we're doing, we're partnering with our district school. So the district is a consolidated school district where we used to have different schools in our district. Now the schools are all consolidated. And so there are different sections like, primary, elementary, junior high, high school, but all of them are under one umbrella, but they're in the district. And so what we did, we just kind of came alongside and just created an avenue to collaborate with the teachers that are in the school district, and let them know that we'll be working alongside the school district to try to help bridge the gap so that so many of our kids don't fall in the cracks during the pandemic. Mm-hmm. And so we just communicate with all the teachers, K through 12, and we let them know, this is what we're doing. My sister's certified teacher as well as I am also, but we just kind of let them know, we're not trying to reteach anything. We're only going to supplement what the certified teacher that has been assigned to that student is already doing. So we come under and try to kind of undergird it. So.
Wow.
Awesome concept.
You know what, Pamela? I see this becoming very, very huge. Because even in the school, having that hand holding, it sounds like you guys just love these children. Mm-hmm. Number one, I can just because of what you're doing, that's love in itself. And I can see this being definitely ongoing after the pandemic. Mm-hmm. Because these teachers really do need the help that you're providing. They really do. On without COVID-19, they need you.
Yeah. And it's something that can become a model for many schools around the country.
Yeah.
Because this is something that, like Ida said, it's needed. There are those young children who are in a situation where even if it was, they like we were saying, no COVID, they are still struggling. Their parents are not available to help them with their homework. Sometimes they do have those younger siblings and they're responsible for all of them. That is a huge weight for a child to carry, regardless. A child is not supposed to raise other children. So they have to cope with their own growing, they have to cope with their own learning, and there's no real additional support for them. So this is a fabulous model.
Yes, it is.
It's a fabulous model.
Yes.
Thank you for doing this.
We're gonna talk to you in a year. We're gonna talk to you in a year, and this is gonna be nationwide.
Yeah, it's
I am
definitely a
putting
model.
it in the universe because
it's definitely a God idea, because we were like, what are we gonna do to help? We can't just stay locked in our house and hide, hidden away from the kids, because that's what we do. We help them. We try to help. We put ourselves in a position to help. And so we started making our own dividers, those plastic plexiglass models, and we made them, my sister and I, we made them to fit our desk. We made face shields, and we even made disinfected just in case we ran out. We wanted to have our own supply or whatever during that time. It was around March, April when we were making all those things.
Right.
Awesome.
Wow. You guys covered it all.
We were trying.
How do people get in contact with you? Because this is brilliant. And I can, like I said before, I can see this being a model for other districts, other schools.
Well, if it's, concerning anything P.A.R.C Academy, After School WPR, we do have a website. And that website is www.afterschoolpr.com/after school. Now I know it's a lot. So if someone can't get all those letters in there for the website, I'm on Facebook as Pamela Conerly, Pamela Conerly, as well as we have a business page on Facebook for P.A.R.C Academy and After School Program WPR. Also, I'm on Instagram, and my name there is I am Pamela Conerly. So,
excuse me, for the P.A.R.C Academy, it's P.A.R.C, not P.A.R.K. It's P.A.R.C.
Yes, I should have made that clear. P.A.R.C. And it's for the acronym Pam and Robyn Conerly. But we just kind of put it together and made the word P.A.R.C and then Academy, and then our after school program WPR.
Excellent. All righty. I don't want them to miss you.
No, they're not going to miss you.
Yeah, very fine.
For sure. Now, the Academy, what is that all about? Tell me a little bit about the Academy.
Well, we just added on Academy because we were opening like a school, and we were making available to K through 12 for the kids to come there from 7:30 a.m. all the way through after school, which they would leave about 6 and around that time frame. And as they're there, even though we call it an academy, we're still doing what the school district has laid out. We go by the school district's rules. We go by the school district's attendance. We go by the whatever the certified teachers in the school district do. We're like a shadow, I would say. And we come alongside and we only shadow what they have already laid out. We don't reinvent the wheel. We take it and supplement the thing and roll it over and over and over again. And so that's why we call it an academy, because we go from 7:30 in the morning when school begins, and we go all the way through after school at 6:30, and then they can have a little break somewhere up in there.
Very good.
That is wonderful. That is really wonderful.
Excellent.
Wow. That's truly anointed. You guys are truly, love. That's all I see. Is love. That's beautiful. Wow. Okay, let's talk a little bit about the book. How did that come about?
Well, we were in this pandemic, and when they said to shut down, I'm going to tell you that my sister and I, we shut down. We went by the guidelines. We didn't go outside the house, and so we were in here on social media a lot more than, I probably would normally be on social media. And I was just going through some feeds, and out of nowhere, I saw this group called Finally Free to Be Me. And the topic, the title, it just, something inside of me leapt. I say a Mary and Elizabeth experience where it was just like a connection. And I was like, what is that all about? So I went to, kind of research it. I saw one of my friends that was in the group. I kind of reached out to her and she was like, join. She sent me an invitation. I joined immediately. It's probably one of the first groups that I had joined on a social media account. And I joined. And as I looked at it, I saw the questions, I saw the topics, I saw I could feel the love from, I didn't know the person over it, which is Don Lee. Now I know her, but I didn't know her at that moment. But I just was like, this woman is celebrating all these other businesses. She's putting and promoting all these other nonprofits. She's promoting these other people. And I hadn't seen her face yet at that moment. And I was just floored. I was just like, this is good to celebrate other people and give, someone else who may not have that capacity or that reach. And there were small, people that I knew, small little mom and pop, small startup businesses on their little ministries. And she was just like shouting them to the rooftop. And I was like, this is awesome. This is awesome. But then when I talked to her, because I reached out a little further, and I don't do that. I used to just kind of, I say silently stalk. That's how I do social media. I don't do a lot of the other stuff. I silently stalk. And some would call it research, but whatever you want to call it. But anyway, so I was just that's how I would normally interact. But instead of doing that, I commented and I reached out to her in Messenger. And I was like, hi, I saw this. And she had an advertisement for the Anthology, the Finally Free Anthology. Now, I've always wanted on the inside of myself to eventually write a book, but it's just not on the forefront right now. And so when I saw the Anthology, and I was like, yes, an Anthology, as many authors, I'm just trying to see, how she was going to go about the entire thing. So I messengered her, and she responded and called me right back. And I was just blown away by that. And she was offering me to be a co-author in this anthology. And I was just like, wow, this is got to be God, because the group, it drew me in. And then when I talked to her, it was like we've known each other for years. And I didn't know her from Adam or Eve. I didn't know her, period, point blank. And so the funny thing about it is, after I talked to her and I told her a portion of my story, and she was like, that is why you should tell you. And I was like, wow, I never looked at it like that, and it could help someone because I have some failures. But when you're able to expose those failures, that's a whole nother freedom on another level. Mm-hmm. And so this book is helping me to expose and be more transparent, more vulnerable, to walk out freedom the way that God intended us to walk out freedom, not just to hold it to ourselves and be free in our house, but to walk it out and literally show people that we're not perfect. But God is perfect, and God is good, and God is gracious, and God is kind, and He will pick you up from whence you fall down. You can fall down 7 times, and He'll still pick you up, and you can still be used. You can still help someone else. Your story can still be impactful, even if you have multitudes of failures. So I'm going on and on, but
that's
yeah.
Okay,
so.
I'm feeling it, girl. Because who hasn't had failures?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody has failures. That's part of the success. You're never going to get around it. So what's the name of your chapter?
My chapter is entitled Dear Night Bloomer.
Oh,
Well, Dear Night Bloomer, bloom in the night. So it's kind of long, but whatever. Dear Night Bloomer is the abbreviation.
so just a little snippet without giving it away. What is your chapter talking about?
Well, it's talking about those failures. Those were my nights and my darks. And before I had the epiphany that, girl, you're free. Get up, you can walk in this, you can use this as legs. Before I had that epiphany and just walked into it, I was allowing the night or the dark times to invade me instead of me invading the night. I was allowing it to kind of cover up my light instead of allowing my light to open up and cause it to dispel. Like when you cut it on a light bulb, when you walk in a room and you flick it on, the light dispels the darkness. But I was going the opposite direction, and I was allowing the dark to come in and cut off my light, which is not so. And so my chapter just tells of the dark experiences that I had, where I had fallen down, I would say, or I didn't open up, because it's about a flower. I didn't open up like I should, and I didn't bloom and perfume my room like the Lord wanted me to, because when I say night bloomer, I was watching a movie and it was in Spanish, but the meaning of the flower was night bloomer. And so it caught my attention, and it wasn't anything about the book or anything. This was just a while back. And when I went to look up night blooming flowers, it was a literal thing. And I was like, wow, there are some flowers that only bloom at night. And I was like, what? It kind of got my attention, because I was like, the sun opens you up. Usually, plants are gravitated to the light and all of those things. But there are some flowers that can bloom at night. And I was like, this is me. It spoke to me, even though it's scientific, it spoke to me on a whole nother level of like, when darkness comes or when negativity comes, don't fold in, Pam. But this is when you open up. This is when you shine. This is when you lead others out of the dark. This is when you be who you were created to be. This is when you just, as I can say, open up, you bloom, and you perfume the room. And so that's where my chapter goes.
Wow, I can't wait.
That sounds very interesting.
I'm telling you now, and the way you explained it, I could just feel that energy. Wow, that is so beautiful. That is
and there are a lot of people who are night bloomers. They just don't know it yet. So maybe you will lead them to it.
Yeah.
Because most of us feel that when we're in our darkest place, that's indeed when we shut down.
Thought. It's another perspective.
A reversal of thought.
Yeah.
But we're used to thinking sometimes in one direction, but sometimes when you catch that, as you did, and flip it, it's like, oh yeah, and then you begin to ask yourself, why am I hiding? Why am I not blooming? Even in the darkness, why am I not blooming? We're going to look forward to reading that.
Oh yes. Yeah. Oh yes. Wow. This has been so invigorating. You are such sunshine.
Oh.
I am loving it. So again, how do people get in contact with you?
Well, let me try to bring it all in. Okay. I'm going to only give my Facebook, Instagram, and email, just so that I can be, bring it all in. I don't want it to be so confusing, because all of those are my name. So Facebook, Pamela Conerly. Instagram, I am Pamela Conerly. And my email, Pam_Conerly@hotmail.com.
All right. So you guys have heard it here.
All right.
This lady is just awesomeness. I mean, how you change the dynamic of teaching is definitely going to take you around the world. Because these teachers need every little bit, every inch of what you have. every inch,
Mm.
to help them to, a real teacher wants to see their children excel.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to leave any child behind.
Right.
And with your support, they will be able to do so.
Yes.
And I'm sure you put that loving arm around them kids, even virtually, to make them want to do it. I can already tell that.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Really appreciate what you're doing. I'm with Ida. I can see this traveling around the world. There'll be P&R, R&P, educational system, support system, international.
And we do. We support. We're not trying to take over. We want to undergird and just read. What's the word I'm looking for? Support and is eluded my mind. But anyway, just to come under and support the teachers and everything that's already been put in place. But those that may be falling through the crack, we're like a second layer to catch them before they hit the ground.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. Thank you so much.
So much, Mrs. Pamela. You are just the bomb.com.
If it's anything, it's God. And I would be remiss to sit and not say I give God all glory and all credit, because even the idea, it came from him, because my mind's not that good to come up with an idea of anything, to pivot or anything, So I do give God all credit. And I say it's a God idea. That's what I call it.
I know that's right. And it's all God. When we think of something, especially to help humanity, we know it's God.
Mm-hmm.
Because once it comes into our mind, all the pieces start coming together.
They do.
And that's only divine.
That is definitely divine.
Absolutely.
We couldn't have done it if we tried.
Right, that's true.
I've messed up many puzzles trying to put them together.
Well, you tell us. Well, we are so happy you joined us, and we are looking forward to more collaboration. And thank you so much, Pamela, for everything that you do.
I have been honored to be on you all's platform. I am honored and humbled and grateful. So I thank you.
We are grateful as well.
Indeed. Thank you.
Your business, through Just Minding My Business Media, has exposure on internet radio, major social media platforms, and now TV. Through Just Minding My Business, dynamic digital marketing platform. Don't listen to the word on the street. Hear it for yourself. Visit jmmb.assistercircle.org to learn how you can take your business, your vision, to the next level. Voiceovers by RCH VoiceWorks, for when you want to be heard. Call 443-620-4115.
Thank you for tuning in to Just Minding My Business Radio. I'm your host, Ida Crawford.
And I'm your co-host, Ruth Haskins.
We hope you enjoyed the show and appreciate you stopping by. Many blessings to you and yours.